How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Farmmi, which ended up having a strong green day inside of the market. I was talking about in previous videos the consolidation that we were seeing. We want to look forward to seeing a pop, and that's what we got today. So I want to make sure I keep you guys updated. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, and also those key levels to look forward to going into tomorrow, and as well as for the rest of the week, of course. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We already know for the short interest, it could have a big time impact on the stock. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. What we want to see is the buying and as well as the selling behavior on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and going over some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Farmmi. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 35 cents, being up 12.84%. On the low, it tested 32 cents, and then on the high, testing 37 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 230.026 million shares, and for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 116.921 million shares. So one thing we could see right away, we ended up having above average volume on the day, and this is part of the reasons why we saw strength in Farmmi. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the 1 year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, we're at 53.81. And then when we take a look at the moving averages now, we are below the 200 day, the 100 day, but what is really great to see, we're able to close above the 50 day and as well as the 21 day EMA. So this is what I want to see from Farmmi. So one thing that is very clear though, we did have some resistance at 37 cents on the day. So what I'd want to look forward to is us getting past 100 day here at 39 cents going into tomorrow. If we don't get it tomorrow, then I want to see it sometime this week. We already know this is a strong area of resistance, especially right at the 40 cent level. And I feel if Farmmi can get above this particular area, then we could see some strong moves and then we can end up seeing a test right around 45, 46 cents. Now, if it decides to be in bearish mode, so if it decides to pull back and so forth, then the level that I want to see hold up, and I'm going to be continuing to say this, is right at the 30 cent level. Let's be real. Farmmi's been doing a pretty solid job holding up this area. And then as far as going into the open for tomorrow, if it does decide to pull back, I would love to see a continuation at that 32 cent level as far as key support. But even so, when I'd want to look for it would be 33 cents most preferably. So if we can hold 33 cents, then of course I feel like we can get past that 37 resistance we had on the day. So let's see what happens for Farmmi. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Farmmi. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we can see here for the most recent for October the 26th, we already seen the one on the 19th. We have Fidelity NASDAQ Composite Index Fund that went in with just over 104,000 shares for the filing of October 26th. So that is good to see. And then when we take a look at the short interest, we can see for the dark pool short volume ratio, it is at 46.68%. And then for the dark pool short volume being at 48.9 million shares. So just over that. And as we scroll down further, we can see for the short shares availability, it is at 7.7 million shares updated 5 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow free rate, it is at 6.89%. Then when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 22nd, which was the last week Friday, was at 32.56, and then for the close yesterday for the 21st 25th being at 46.68. So one thing that is very clear, Farmmi does continue to have short squeeze potential, and it's part of the reasons why I want to say to keep this on your radar. We've been doing technicals for quite some time, and we can see it's doing a really good job alongside with our estimations. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Farmmi. So we can see here on the inflow is 18.01, and then on the outflow it was 18.17. When we take a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 2.69, on the medium it was 11.32, and then on the small it was 4.00. When we take a look at the outflow side, on the large it was 2.82, on the medium it was 11.40, and then on the small it was 3.95. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, October the 26th, being that negative at 129.37. Taking a look further at the breakdown, we had a lot more buying on the retail side, but keep in mind it wasn't a huge difference. I must say it was like 4 million compared to 3.95 million that was selling. Then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had a lot more selling that was going on, and then as well as for the large, of course, we had a lot more outflows. But of course, it wasn't a lot more. I got to correct myself on that. We just had more outflows in general, but there was a good amount of inflows coming into the play. When we take a look now at the turnover ratio, though, we could see it's at 81.99%. And you know what? This is not too bad for a penny stock like Farmmi. It does tell us, yes, there's a lot of traders who are coming in and out of this play, and it's very liquid. So knowing that, you know there's going to be a lot of volatility. You're going to see a lot of ups and downs. But me personally, like I was saying in previous videos, Farmmi is pretty safe if you're getting it at the low 30s, so 31, 30 cent range. And also, I want to make sure this is not financial advice. This is just a consideration that I would use in regards to a position. I would not be buying when it's at 35 or at 36 or 38 and so on. I like it in the low 30s. So as long as it continues that momentum, I rather just ride it up than wanting to actually jump into it afterwards. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Farmmi, what I want to see, if it goes into the open and there's a dip, I want to see it hold up the 33 cent level and seeing where it could go from there. Of course, there's clear areas of resistance at 39, 38, and as well as 40 cents. 40 cents being that psychological area. If it can gain momentum above 40, then I'm looking forward to seeing that upside. I talked about it inside of the technicals where this play can possibly go. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So this is why you want to keep this play on your radar, because when there's a lot of volume coming through the stock like we got today, we could see some serious moves in price action. And also, we have many people who are buying in on the retail side, knowing that the momentum is there. But of course, if you've been watching this channel, doing your homework and as well as your due diligence, you got in at a cheaper price than where it's currently at right now. I see it gaining some momentum inside of the after hours, and of course that is always good to see. And for the next point that I want to bring up is the way Farmmi was consolidating. Many people do say, well, you know what, this stock is done for. All it does is barcode or trade in a tight range. And for the most part, I must say that is completely fine when it comes to me, because what this tells us is that there is support, there is demand at that particular price level, like we talked about, right at that 30 cent range. We've seen it pull back going to 27 and as well as 28, but that is perfectly fine because it's still trading in a tight range. So as this continues over time, the buying pressure is going to start to ensue, and then we can look forward to seeing a strong pop. And I realize this with a lot of plays, and this is why I try my best to bring it to your attention in a timely manner. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to seeing what Farmmi does tomorrow. Hopefully it can crack that 40 cent level, and we can have another video explaining, hey, what is the next plan of action from my opinion. This is not financial advice. I'll be talking to you guys real soon.